This is my second time trying to record this video because I recorded this video once and I was looking through it. I don't know, I looked tired. I looked really fucking tired. I think I'm just not really used to being more energetic on camera. I think that's something I want to actually practice more. So like, hello, hi. Let's go. Sometime when I was younger, and I don't really remember when, there was a meme.
Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing. So if you want...
So I didn't know what Parks and Rec was. I've still never really seen an episode. Please forgive me. I think it's really only now, like 14 years later, after really actually finally starting or trying to start the beginning stages of my career, that I think I really understand what that means. Since my last video, I started streaming on Twitch, which is a big thing I've introduced into my life. Damn. Oh my god, this poor If I don't finish this story in 10 minutes, then I should give up my life. Let's go. So that's one piece of important context for this video. The second is that I've got pretty big dreams. I want to create prolific video games about talking dogs. That's a big goal I have. The question that I have for myself is, what steps do I need to take to get to where I want to be? Because in my mind, I see the summit. I see it, and I see the house that I want to build on top of it, but I don't know how to build a house, and so I got to figure that out. And more importantly, I can't actually see the summit from the bottom, so I don't know which mountain has the right summit for that job. And even if I did, like, I'm still learning how to climb, and I'm still learning how to use my tools. In fact, there's probably tools that I don't even realize exist that I'm going to need for that climb. So this is a guess. But I think that one of the tools I should have in my arsenal is the ability to tell a good story, which has led me to learning how to write. And in fact, I've been streaming some of that process if you want to watch me fuck around and find out. As it turns out, writing is many things. We've got plot, we've got dialogue, description, etc. And it doesn't really surprise me how big the writing ocean is, because I have sunk many years into visual art. I expected this. Before getting my hands wet, I knew that I wanted like some better vantage. I started reading this book called Make Every Word Count by Gary Provost. It's a little old, and I think some of the ways it uses language is like a little outdated, but I think it's pretty good. I actually want to bring attention to this excerpt on page 22. This chapter is about active voice. If you don't know what that is, it's basically the difference between saying that something was done by an agent versus saying that an agent did something. So like, I painted my room versus the room was painted by me. The former just sounds better. Provost uses these two paragraphs to illustrate the difference. A guy I know hangs around his apartment every evening in front of the television, hoping somebody will call and invite him to dinner. In the afternoon, he haunts the mailbox, figuring maybe an invitation or a check will show up from some unexpected source. He dreams about new friends coming into his life, a better job popping up out of nowhere, and he figures he might win a new car someday if a disc jockey calls him up and asks an easy question. I know another fellow who plays tennis every morning. When he meets a man or a woman he'd like to know better, he gets the phone number and calls the person up. This guy started his own business a few years back, and now he's putting the profits into businesses started by his friends. He also likes to go skydiving. So this example kind of fascinated me because like, the lesson isn't just that active writing is more interesting, but rather that like active characters and even like active people are also more interesting. And I think I yet to really understand the full ramifications of that. There's just a lot to process about that. There are thousands of books on art theory and writing theory, but the world, I think, is still trying to figure out what makes for a good stream. I don't think theory has yet caught up with furry VTubers. I have this intense desire to be a VTuber. I like being a dog, but I also don't want to use that as an excuse to neglect my appearance or even the aesthetic of this room. So I've been toying with like a hybrid approach, and my idea was this. If you wanted to see the doggy, you could look at one side of the screen. And if you wanted to see the human, you could look at the other. I was playing with another approach too, where I was letting software dictate whether you saw my face or not. And truth be told, I think the results are actually kind of mixed. And I have some theories as to why, and so I'm going to apologize for boiling it down like this. Like, I need to keep the scope of this video small, or it's literally just never going to get done. So here's how I'm boiling it down. It was hard to feel like myself. I didn't know if people were tuned in because they liked the dog or if they liked the human. And so if I leaned into the dog, I was for some ridiculous reason afraid of weirding out some of my audience. But if I wasn't doggy enough, then I was afraid of not being weird enough. I just didn't feel very comfortable operating in one mode or another. I think there's an argument that by not making a decision, I was being passive. I think the active decision would be for me to decide one or the other. Yesterday, I wanted to try something. I decided to go full dog mode. I got rid of the human and I was only a dog. And this has kind of changed how I perceived like everything. Because three things happened. One, I had the most successful stream I've had in terms of viewership. And like I'm still a baby streamer, so it wasn't that much. It wasn't that much, but it was notable. It was notable. Two, it was the most fun stream I've had. Extra protein on the drink. No, no, mariners, no, no, that's bad. I had a blast. Three, immediately after streaming, I started to make way more observations about my VTubing approach. Like, for example, it just became a lot more obvious to me that I needed to clean up my art. I think I was half-assing the VTuber side. And I forgave myself for half-assing it because it existed in conjunction with the IRL tuber side. And I don't even think this is wrong. It's just that I think I would rather be a better VTuber than not. There's just like way too many variables to say like these are the reasons why these boons happened. And I don't want to suggest that it was because I was more intent about being a dog that I had a better stream outcome. Like I don't think that's what happened. I think it's going to take me a long time to figure out exactly what happened. The only thing I know for sure that happened is that by committing to a decision, I learned something new. And it was easier to gauge what I learned. And I think now I'm going to spend a little bit of time thinking about what else I can be more active about. Okay, that's the video. That's it.